Media Ethics in the Information Age, Challenges and Evidence-Based Solution. So what I'm going to present today is about media ethics, and I'm going to talk about challenges and some evidence-based solution, meaning that I look into research that provides solution to media ethics in digital age. So first of all, we need to know what is ethics all about. So ethics is, I believe everyone know. So ethics is what is right and wrong, and and ethics guide human behavior based on moral principles, values, and social norms. And it's different from law, where we have punishment if you do not follow the laws and regulation. Ethics is more on societal approval of our action and behavior. So in the context of this presentation, we are going to talk about media ethics that refers to principles and guidelines that govern the media. And this includes journalism, broadcasting, advertising, and digital communication. So it's about guideline and principle that guide media behavior. And when you look at media ethics in digital age nowadays, so it deals with most often responsible reporting and content creation. Why? Because now that everyone can create content, so there's a phenomenon where user generated content is very rampant in media. So that requires us to ensure that media professionals, platform, as well as audience to uphold ethical standards and public trust. So this is more about, I'm going to talk about media ethics in digital age that involve not only media practitioners, also the platform, social media platform, and also the audience who use the social media. So when digital media evolves, as we all know now, ethical consideration must adapt to new challenges. We have many challenges, ethical challenges today as digital media evolves. So among them, not these are not all, but among them are misinformation and fake news. Okay, we are this is a very pertinent problem in our society, especially now that social media is very popular. So misinformation and fake news is one of the ethical challenges. Clickbait and sensationalization. This happen why? Because when people start creating content on social media, most often we want to make it viral. So we have people make it sensationalized, and this become an ethical issues as well. And data privacy, as we all know, social media users tend to share our data openly, and that involve invasion of privacy. And today also we have these algorithmic biases, as we know that we often use TikTok, for example, that has algorithm with it and personalize our content, and therefore we have biases. We tend to have our bubbles, our own internet bubble. And nowadays, most problems that involve ethical issues are fake news in AI generated content. So these are some ethical issues that happen in digital media today. And if you, as a researcher in media, we can find a lot of studies actually tackle these issues, because research is about understanding things and solving problems in societies. So I have looked into some evidence-based solution of how to actually address these ethical challenges in society. And believe it or not, researchers always want to find solution, right? That's what we do in our research, to find ways to actually solve the problem. And I'm going to talk about few of the ways to solve the problem based on research. Okay, so what I, what I observe is that people do research. I also do research on fake news, and most often when we write our research, we always suggest practical solution, practical implications, and but sometimes people ignore what have been proposed by research. So what I aim to do today is to look at various research approach in dealing with ethical issues in society. So the first one is combating misinformation and fake news. The issue is that the rapid spread of false and misleading information on social media platforms. So this is, we know it in Malaysia, I believe in India also. There are problem of spread of fake news, and it has been rampant because social media allow us to share any information at our fingertips, and most often we do not check whether it's true or not. So what are the solutions that research have provided to actually combat misinformation and fake news? So if we look at, generally there are two broad solutions. It's based on user-oriented approach that focus on users, and also platform-driven solution that focus on the platform. So if you look at research in this field, those who focus on users-oriented approach tend to look at how can how can users of social media become a forefront to overcome this problem. And most of the time, they look at pre-banking strategy. Pre-banking strategy means we provide you with, we tend to, research tend to suggest that we need to provide people with knowledge and skills to actually pre-bank misinformation. And this involves research that look into the role of critical thinking, the role of fake news awareness, the role of media literacy. All can be grouped into media literacy. And there are a strand of research that look at user-oriented approach through media literacy as a solution. And there are also studies that look into fake checking, fact checking and verification. Research tend to look into what are the conditions that make people fact check and verify their information. And some of my studies also look into this, and we also found that what we found is the importance of looking at individuals as someone who spread the fake news also can stop it from happening. And there are also a strand of research that looks into platform-driven solution. And most often, this kind of research comes from computer science studies. They look into what? Into look at data mining, look at detection approach, AI-based detection systems. There are a lot of them. A lot of studies that look into developing detection, how to detect fake news. And there are also studies within computer science research that look at platform accountability, okay, and how that suggests social media companies should implement stronger content moderation policies. So content moderation policies are also one of the issues that research has been focusing on, to look at how can we fight fake news through platform-driven solution. So if some of you are in research, so these are the things that you might open your mind on how to actually look into this issue. And there are also issues. One of the challenge in media ethics is clickbait. Okay, so we have to prevent clickbait and sensationalism in digital media. And if you look at these issues of clickbait and sensationalization, most studies, there are also solutions provided by studies. Okay, if you see in my slide, some focus on promoting ethical journalism. Okay, this is one of the issues that encourage how news organizations should prioritize truth over virality. And there are also studies that focus on regulating false claim, okay, that try to make it unlawful, and also on user reporting system, how to make users prone to report this unethical behavior online. And there are also studies that look into ethical AI in content curation, okay, where AI should prioritize credible sources over engagement-driven content. So there are some studies that I put here in the slide to show you that there are various studies that look into different issues of ethical problem in digital media. And there are also a group of research that look into privacy and data protection. And most of these are driven from law, from legal perspective. Okay. And if you look at some of the solution that studies have been proposing is that we need to have a stronger privacy law. Okay, and some even look into the Euro General Data Protection Regulation, and developing country also tend to go into this, because when research tend to show that laws can actually helps in preventing all these ethical issues as well. And there are also topic on transparency in data collection, user control, privacy setting, and secure encryption technologies. So most often these studies look into ways how to make people, how to ensure privacy. And there are also studies that look into users' perspective, how they look at severity of privacy problem, and how these different social uh, phenomenon, social variables that can affect self-disclosure on social media and whatnot. So these are some of the things that have been done in research to actually address ethical problems. And there are also current trend now that AI bias and algorithmic transparency. So if we don't, if you are not familiar with AI bias, is more about algorithm. Okay, when you tend to love to watch sports, so all your contents are about sports. So there are algorithm that within your search personalize your interests and whatnot. And there are several suggestions given by past studies to actually include fair and inclusive AI training data. This is ongoing. It's more recent studies on this field. And there are also algorithmic transparency. This is has been derived. I mean, if you look at the some of the example I gave is more of not so recent studies. So it has been there for quite some time. And they're also about audits, need to audit, AI need to be audited. And also there are also research that tend to suggest that users should control of our algorithm. Not algorithm control us, users should control algorithm. So all these studies open our eyes on how to address this kind of problem, ethical problem. And most importantly now, I mean, not every issues are important. One of the things that being very we talk about a lot is deep fake technology, okay, which is used for misinformation, identify fraud and political manipulation. This is quite common, I believe. In Malaysia also common. I'm not sure in India, but I think globally has become a problem when AI technology has become so rampant, right? And as studies being done to actually address deep fake and AI generated content, there are some suggestions that being forwarded that deep fake detection, watermarking, and digital signatures. Some also focus on legal regulation, and some look into public awareness campaign. So need more campaign to actually educate people about deep fake and AI generated content. And there are also issues on promoting media literacy and digital ethical education. This is one of the many studies that actually focus on this, because the issues is that many users lack the skill to critically access digital information and ethical concern. So there are many suggestions to promote media literacy in research as well, like integrating digital literacy in education, focusing on public awareness, okay, ethical AI. So we need to train developers to create responsible digital products, and also cross-sector collaboration. So one of my book chapter talk about the need to collaborate, the need for journalists, ordinary people, the policymakers, and also many many section of the society to actually collaborate to actually solve this problem, to address the problem. So as a conclusion, I can say that ethical media practice in the digital age are not solely the responsibility of journalists or technology companies, but require a collective effort from society. Okay, we can work towards a more informed and accountable and ethical digital media environment by integrating evidence-based strategies. So we need to look into what have been found in past in studies in research. Okay, and based on that, if we have evidence-based strategies like what I'm trying to propose today, we can actually advocate for stronger policies and we can promote ethical media consumption. And as we move forward, so we need to have a continuous research, education, and collaboration. These three things, research, education, and collaboration, are the key things to ensure that ethical principles remain at the core of our rapidly evolving media ecosystem. So I think that's it from me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mom.